You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Homeland After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Homeland After Show.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to the season finale, Season 3, Episode 12 of Showtime's Homeland, episode entitled The Star. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me today on this somber evening is...
Hi, I'm Lauren Leonelli.
Hi, everybody, I'm Nando Velasquez.
And we have a few things to talk about.
Can we just pick up the energy a little bit?
I really feel I'm sad.
bit.
Okay, no,
sad.
we can pick. I am really genuinely sad. I feel like it's the end of an era.
It is the end of an era, and that being said, no more Brody. Maybe no more Saul.
I don't think that.
No way.
No way.
I don't know. You know, part of me, I have mixed feelings about this, and simply because I feel like...
About what specifically when you say this?
Well, while we were watching, I said, you know, if they, by some miraculous way, get Brody out of this situation, to me, it's too unrealistic. And I'm done watching it.
Yeah, Thaddeus was like, I'm
It's
done.
your fault.
Okay,
But I'm happy.
It's your fault.
But
I'm sad, and I'm happy because, to me, I was really hoping that they were going to set it up for you to want to come in for Season 4. And
how would they have done that?
I don't know. That's the writer's job.
So you're saying no? I mean, I'm not saying give me a specific example.
Right.
You're saying that you felt that they
I felt like they should. I felt like they were gonna like
give us a cliffhanger or something.
Yeah, so set us up some kind of way to want to come back.
Yeah.
For Season 4, and for me, that just didn't happen.
Well, it was
unless you're just that big of a fan of the show. But I just kind of feel like, well, maybe they're like, we're ending the show. You know, it just was a perfect 3 seasons of this story.
That's not happening.
Well, I don't think.
I've heard no talks of that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You guys can call us if you want to, 424-256-1729.
Come on, cheer up a little bit, Thaddeus.
And weigh in. I mean,
They killed Brody.
I'm saying I have mixed feelings. I'm happy and I'm sad. I'm happy that they ended it like with integrity.
He was barely in this season.
Yeah.
He was barely in this season.
Yeah, I mean, he
could have disappeared for another 6 episodes next season, and you wouldn't have missed him.
That's true.
But the looming idea of Brody would still be there. It feels like it was refreshing to see Carrie at the end of the episode have some light in her eyes, but you just wonder. I mean, I guess it's the same. Well, it's a similar aspect when they killed Abu Nazir. You're like, what are they going to fight for now? So I just feel like, as an audience member, it's like, Carrie, you've only, I mean, when she had that talk with Javadi, and he's like, this is done. Like, and everyone sees, this has all always been for him. This has all always been about him. And now everybody sees him through your eyes. The only problem is it's not true, because Lockhart doesn't see Brody through her eyes anymore. That's where I think there's going to be a little bit of her trying to
yeah, but can she really argue
redeem.
That? You can't really argue that.
Okay, wait. I'm not saying that I agree with her. I'm saying she now, as a character, is going to fight for him still a little bit, somehow in some way.
I think she did.
She drew the star on the wall, but I don't know.
I think that's about all she could do.
I know.
Like,
well,
I mean, it's, Brody's gone.
But like
everybody knows who was involved, knows what he did.
But like I was saying, you wondered where they were going to go after they killed Abu Nazir. Right. I feel that now. I feel like, where are they going to go? Like, who's Carrie going to fight for? Maybe there's a little fight left in her. There's got to be something. Maybe she'll hook up with Peter Quinn.
Well, that's what you're hoping. Although, she's going to have to pop one out of the oven first before that happens. But look, I don't agree with you.
Some people are into that.
the whole theme, the whole ending was about the idea of Brody, the idea of Brody himself. That's what that whole "let me color in the star on the wall" was about. Brody still lives in her mind and in her belly, but Brody still lives.
Right.
Okay. We can definitely have. I mean, it's a shame. I'm more bummed that we don't get to see more of Damian Lewis on the show, rather than we don't get to see more of the character Nicholas Brody on the show. I'm more bummed about that because he's an amazing actor,
of course.
And even though he had a limited amount of time this season, everything he's done up to that last shot of him being hung slowly, that was really creepy. By the way, I know we're going to talk more about it, but up to those final shots, that was just something amazing. But I don't think this is a sad story in the end. He got more or less what he wanted.
The redemption came.
The redemption came. He was at peace.
It's bittersweet, but it did come.
Yeah.
It was bittersweet, but it came. I mean, you can't expect...
He had a rough life.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect it to come like peachy clean.
No, of course.
Peachy clean.
And
he goes back home and they just raise their family.
Of course.
That would be really corny.
No, that is true.
And he kind of was a man without a country in a way. Because the U.S. And to the very end, where it's the U.S. after doing this big thing for the U.S., they give him up to save their asset, to make their asset stronger in Iran.
Right.
To help Javadi.
Which really sucks because Saul ordered the extraction.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to order it until he found out for sure that, Javadi confirmed that Akbari had been done in. And once he had that confirmation, he was like, well, I got to be a man of my word and go ahead and get this guy out of there like I told Carrie I would do. And he did actually order it until he was upended and hoisted out of there.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, look, Brody even said in the episode, he said, in what universe can you redeem one death by committing another? Right. So this man would never be at peace unless he
That's what I was
paid.
saying. I don't really think that he was at peace. I just feel like this was all that was left for him.
Yeah.
And the fact that he became a U.S. Marine and was in the situation that he was in, that's the risk that you take, clearly. But for the last, 10 years of his life, he was just tortured and...
Yeah, he went through hell, that guy.
He went through hell.
Lost his
I just thought it
family.
was sad. I think it's sad.
It was pretty sad. Then Carrie was pregnant for him. That was probably just a huge bummer.
Well, it's great that she finally revealed. It's great that he at least went to. He died
He's like,
knowing that his spawn will live on. I guess.
Like, I gotta have a baby with this one. Oh no, I'm good.
Yeah, right. Oh, forget it.
Anyway, going back to episode 11 last week. I really thought when he sat down with Akbar and he was explaining and he was giving him and telling him everything, I was like, oh my gosh, he's really turning to that side. So he picked up the crystal ashtray and smacked him across the head.
I thought differently. I
was
said
like,
this.
wow.
I reviewed the episode as best as I could last week.
Apologies that we couldn't make it.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
I got stuck at work. I mean, I don't know what happened last Sunday. I couldn't make it last Sunday, but I thought we were going to have a show. But yeah, apologies for anybody who was really looking forward to all of us.
What do you mean apologies? What are you trying to say?
I'm just apologizing for myself and for Thaddeus for not being there. And I'm apologizing for you for holding the fort by yourself.
Hey.
I'm sure.
I briefly overviewed the show, and on that part, and that was a huge turning point of the episode, so I'm sure everyone had an opinion. But my opinion was when he went to go pray, and Carrie was there, and he was on the phone with her, and she was like, we gotta go. Like, they're trying to take you out. I think they're trying to take you out. And he's like, what am I gonna do? Go with you and go back to it? Like, what his choice? His choice was to die there, right? Just get killed and give up, or to go back to America and probably be put somewhere,
Guantanamo,
somewhere random, or never be seen again, or maybe possibly have to do another mission, which clearly was probably not going to happen now because of who he was, and there's no way he's going to sneak through now.
He's the most wanted man in the world.
So it's like he knew he was screwed. So what made him run at that point? What made him go, oh shoot, let's just go and flee and not just give up right then and there? Because it's essentially what he ended up doing.
Well, because at that point, if he would have got taken out right there, he wouldn't have been able to fulfill the mission. Fulfilling the mission and taking out Akbar was the only way he could show them.
So you thought, and that's what I thought too. I just wanted to see what you thought. I thought he went, all right, if I fulfill this mission and get it done, whatever I have to do, then I'll go back to America, and they're gonna make good with their promise that they're gonna let me be free in whatever the case is.
He'll be at peace. He's more likely to be at peace, he figured, in one way or another, if he did. I just thought that was awesome motivation. We still didn't know to the very end what his motivation, what his alliance was, if he was really happy being part of the PR machine over in Iran, or if he was going to complete his mission. So.
I just thought he felt like he had, if he had to pick a lesser of evil, it was just to go and try and at least fulfill the mission. And I still don't think, though, that he was 100% like, yay, America.
No, he definitely wasn't, as far as I'm concerned. I think ultimately, the message was the wars that were blah 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 or being raged between the two forces. Basically, it goes back to the argument. I think it was like 4 or 5, or the question that was posed like 4 or 5 episodes ago, was all of the bad
worth it?
Worth it.
Yeah.
Because even after, he was seeking redemption, he was going for this assassination of Akbar. He knew what his mission was from jump. They tried to extract him at the border. Then he ran so many yards, 300 yards, got to the border. He went through hell just to get close to this guy, to only
have to
end up killing him after his own country was going to kill him.
Yeah.
Or after his own country or whatever, after the American forces were going to kill him. So now it's like, okay, now I have to prove it, but to prove that I am following through with the mission.
Yeah.
I think
for a small chance of getting let off somewhere in there, and then maybe just going off and living in another country and being on his own. But I feel like him being at peace, dying in this episode was just him being like, I'm giving up my life now for all the lives that I've taken.
Well, if you have to think about it, when it comes to a jihad or a spiritual godlike, warfare or battle, I think, and it seems to me that the manner in which he would go out was important. So it wasn't like, I feel like him being at peace was like, he felt like his hanging was just, even though he didn't say that.
That's what I think.
Yeah, he felt like it was just.
It was his redemption. If he was still a U.S. soldier who really, really cared about his country, I'm sure he would have fought it a lot more. He would have definitely rebelled against, even in prison, found a way out of it. But he was at peace. And again, he was very happy out there in Iran, it seemed like. It seemed like he was very happy there. I mean, because of his upbringing, because of the way he was. I mean, it was a really, really sad moment, I think, when Abu Nazir's wife spit on his face.
Yeah.
I would say, because that was like somebody who really, really trusted him. And that
was that Abu Nazir? I thought that was Akbar's wife.
No. That was Abu Nazir's wife.
That was Abu Nazir's wife?
Yeah.
I missed that.
So, it's okay.
Why?
Whose wife did you think it was?
Akbari.
Oh, after we had such that great scene the week before with her and
it
vetting
was,
him?
right? Are we wrong? No,
such
that
a great
was her.
scene with her. I'm pretty sure it was her.
Well, we did have a great scene with Abu Nazir's wife.
Yeah, that's what
we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
Right, but I thought the one that spit on him at the hanging was Akbari's wife.
It might have been.
Oh, maybe it was. Okay.
That's what I thought.
I thought it was Abu Nazir's wife, but maybe we were wrong. Because that wouldn't make sense for Abu Nazir's wife to spit in his face.
It would make sense for both of them to spit in his face.
Yeah, it makes sense for either one of them to spit in his face. But I didn't think it was the same. I thought it was a different person because I looked and I thought it might. I was like, "Is this Abu Nazir's wife?" And I said, "No, that's not the same lady. That's not the same. That's not this. I don't think that's the same."
Well,
lady.
apologies. I between the wrappings look the same. I kind of went off on that because I was.
Well, I mean, we only saw Abu Nazir's wife for like 60 seconds or 2 minutes last episode, and then for another minute again, and then this woman
I think it was Akbar's wife.
It might have been
because that's what he was being strung up for. It wasn't for Abu Nazir.
Yeah.
He was being strung up for Akbar's murder. So that's
that
the whole
would make
reason.
sense that it was her.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought though I did, and maybe there's other viewers at home that were mistaken about that too. I thought that it was Abu Nazir's wife.
Well, if anybody. You guys got the number 424-256-1729.
Either
Call
way,
us.
the action itself was
sad.
Yes, the action itself I thought was very, very sad. Of her spitting, the person spitting on his face.
I really didn't believe he was dying until the last 2 seconds of the last shot of him, and then I was like, they killed him.
You were hoping somebody was going to shoot the rope and he was going to fall to the ground.
No, Peter Quinn.
I don't think anyone would have been happy. I don't think anyone would have been happy.
I know, you're right. I know, you're right. I don't think that. I think he was done in the storyline. I get it. It's just sad.
It is sad.
That's all.
So let's talk about this safe house, this heart-to-heart talk that him and Carrie had.
She finally told him she was pregnant.
Okay. People in the chat room are saying it was not Abu Nazir's wife, so we'll say it was. Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Our bad. So, no, it's cool. It happens.
The safe house.
The safe house.
She finally told him that she was pregnant.
So now I'm really, really quick. I don't know if you guys saw, like I mentioned, safe house with Denzel Washington and Ryan Reynolds, but isn't there supposed to be somebody at the safe house? Or do they just have these random locations set up?
Yeah. They have random locations.
With nobody there. Nobody
Yeah,
don't
because
have-
at any point it can be utilized. So
Yeah, I
they're not
guess
going to
so.
always have someone just sitting there.
But it wasn't secure at all. It was just
our
like
tax dollars at work. There are people in safe houses not being used all over the
It
world.
was a very high class safe house. There's food in the fridge. It was very opulent.
You know, one thing that I like though was just his humanity coming through, and that was also part of his redemption when he was sitting there just zoned out, and she's like, "Yo, like, what's wrong with you?" And he's like,
Hello?
"I just took another human being's life." Like, I get the whole mission thing, but at the same time,
Well,
he was
she's
a
in the
Marine.
mindset-
Carrie
yeah.
is selfish. I
No.
was saying that in the thing. Carrie's very, very selfish for what she wants. I mean, I get it. You
And
know?
the point, and you know what? I think I don't know. I would kind of be on the fence with that normally.
Yeah.
But simply, one thing that supports that theory
What theory?
that Carrie is selfish is when she said she didn't want to have the baby, she's scared, and blah blah blah, and then she said, "I thought I wanted to have it because it was a way of keeping a piece of Brody with me,"
Right.
Which is sentimental and selfish at the same time.
Right.
It seems more selfish now, the fact that she's like scared to have it and doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Well, look, I
Now
think,
it comes off as selfish.
okay, sure. Maybe she is a little selfish, or self-centered.
But it is. I mean, it's like, how can you blame her for not wanting to have the baby? She's
Well,
not the
but
most stable
let's-
individual.
She's an
You're right.
agent in love, so she just assumes that everyone else has the same dedication to the job like she has.
Right.
And Brody doesn't. Brody was an
That's the
unwilling
problem. And
Brody wasn't an
participant in
agent.
this.
Brody was just a Marine.
Look,
He
No.
who was a
Not
former
even a
Marine.
Marine.
He was a former Marine.
Well, he was a former Marine, but he's doing this to redeem himself in some kind of way, but he's not doing this, and this is why everyone was always wondering where his alliances is, because he's
Yeah.
not considered a U.S. agent in the same
Well,
way they are. He's
which is-
gone through so much.
Which is why in that moment where she goes, "What's wrong with you?" And he's like, "I just killed somebody." Like, in her mind, she's like, "You are trained to murder people, and it's supposed to be like no big deal."
And you just accomplished
And
your mission. We
you
should be
just
happy.
accomplished your mission. What is your problem? Like, she is so in the mindset of like, you know, CIA operation, like laser beam focus.
But how they operate is completely different than being a Marine. Like a Marine, it's
But that
totally
just goes to
different.
show you that there was a point, obviously, in Brody's life where he snapped out of that, like, I'm a robot, I am here to do this mission,
Right.
where he just said, I just killed somebody. Like, she has to, I don't know if that, in that moment, maybe I wouldn't call it selfish, just more of, like, super focused on, you know, very compartmentalized on where she's at right there. Like, we are here to do this, A plus B equals C, it's done, and da-da-da-da. Like, no emotion involved. Although we do see a lot of her emotion come through with him in that moment. It was like, the job was done, and what's your problem?
well, she was just focused on getting him home.
Well, right, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that the selfishness that we see come out of her in that moment, I think that was just like, we're doing a job, and that's where you are reminded that he wasn't in that frame of mind anymore. He wanted, you
I
know.
don't think he's ever been in that frame of mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think since he turned, he's been having problem going back to that.
Yeah.
Well, the difference between the two of them is Carrie wanted the mission to be over so she could be with Brody. Brody wants the mission to be over so he could be at peace.
Yes.
And he, as much as he does care for Carrie, really, he's got other problems. Like, again, that's why I kind of say Carrie's being selfish, because this is a man who's gone through. God, if you look at the history of this
Yeah, of
man,
course.
from him getting captured and taken,
Right.
taken by Abu Nazir for what, 8 years, I believe it was,
It
right?
was.
Before, well,
8
yeah.
years.
From that moment on, with everything else, this is a man who's incredibly conflicted, and Carrie is a super agent who has a high stress job, but really, you can't compare the two of them. You really
Right.
can't
Oh, I'm
compare
not
the two.
comparing-
Oh, I'm not saying you are. I'm
Yeah.
just saying you can't. But
Yeah.
Carrie, for some reason, feels that she feels almost entitled to having this life with Brody because of
Right.
all that she's gone through.
And she's like, "You're a Marine, like it's not
Well,
the same. He's not a trained operative."
Yeah, she's thinking he's in that mindset. So why are they not on the same page? But because of Carrie's never really believed that he's turned, though. She's never been on that. No, he's fulfilling the mission, and he is a Marine, and he's not a terrorist, and he's all. Well, no, I mean that's why she would be like, we just killed this person. What's your problem? Like, she doesn't get that he has had these moments of confliction and deciding what side he's on and whatever. So that just shows that they really weren't ever on the same page. And yeah, she's pregnant with this baby, and she feels like she's been fighting for him this whole entire time. She's dedicated her life and body literally to this man. So yeah, in that moment, of course, she's like, what? we did, she's just on a different mindset than if he was who she really thought he was, she would have no reason not to say what she said.
Well, everything she's done, she's given up so much for him. Everything she's done, her end game was always to be with Brody. I think it was selfish. I think from a standpoint, of working in the job that you're working at and compromising so many missions and going against your boss's orders, I would say she's obviously doing what she wants, and what she does also is good for the turns out to be good for the country.
That's true.
But it's not the only way to go about it. But like the line was said in the episode that I guess that people that the problem with Saul and maybe the problem with Carrie too is that they consider people more valuable in the missions. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's a different way of looking at it for some people.
It's kind of counterintuitive.
That people, Marines are trained to do their mission, and and soldiers who go out in war, if they get captured, they know not to reveal anything.
Right.
You have people, you have soldiers that would rather kill themselves than reveal information. Cyanide tablets and stuff like that. And from an intelligence standpoint, from an executive intelligence standpoint, they look at these people as pawns.
Right.
Or soldiers or like pawns, and they expect them to possibly get some losses,
right?
But they expect them to handle themselves,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's satisfied in their own little position. Carrie's the breakaway character from that. She doesn't value it the same way. So that's the conflict with her, and it's really interesting. I will say this. If we're going too far ahead, I mean, I am looking forward to next season with Carrie and the way she is. I know there's no Brody, but I do think I am looking forward to seeing a new story.
Me too.
Well,
we got the same old Carrie, regardless.
Of course.
So, I mean, maybe there'll be a love interest.
Are you guys out there, AfterBuzz, looking forward to a season 4? Or
are you not, Thaddeus?
I'm just saying, there could be some audience members that could not be looking. This could have been like that's it for them.
You think they jumped the shark right now?
I don't know. I mean, I want to know if you guys. I want to know who out there is like, I don't see where they can go from here, or you guys are like really looking forward to it.
They can go anywhere from here. That's the thing.
Of course they can.
It's a whole new start.
Look, at the end of season 2, I actually said to my friends, as much as I'm a fan of Homeland, and fortunately for me, I guess it didn't turn out that way. I said this show feels more like the final episode of season 2 felt more like a series finale to me than a season finale, and I'd be perfectly happy leaving the show not knowing what happens to Brody or whatever after this whole thing. I actually said that back then. This
you
time,
did say that.
I think I've said that before.
I mean, I'm not saying you didn't.
Tonight felt like a series finale as well. But I felt like that too. I felt like I was a bit, I don't know why, I just felt that whole bombing at the end and just the way it was, I was like, I'm kind of happy with it. I gave it a chance. I went into season 3. I know people, especially the first 3 episodes, were like, okay, what's going on? And I felt a little more, especially with the last 4 episodes, felt a little bit more passion come back to this show.
For sure.
And again, I really feel like if Brody was still alive, it's kind of like, how the hell do you get him?
I agree.
How the hell do you get him out of this? This show needs a reset button right now.
Cockroach.
This show needs a reset button. And who's to say that Saul and Carrie and maybe Lockhart and of course
definitely
Quinn,
Peter Quinn.
Who's not to say that there's not another interesting story with those four characters in there?
Oh, they're for sure they're gonna make their own team for sure.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely
hashtag
they definitely can hashtag
new team.
Yeah. And we're not going to see Dana anymore, and we're not going to see.
We have a little news and gossip about that.
We're not going to see them anymore because we don't really need to see Brody's unless for some reason Dana wants to visit her baby brother once he's born.
Sister.
Oh, sister. It's a girl. That's right. Baby sister when she's born. So, which would be really, really weird and freaky. But I don't anticipate that happening.
I guarantee you, I could already tell you what's going to happen. She's going to make a really weird face, a really pouty face, and she's going to pull her sleeves over her hands and be like, and not say anything.
Can I hold it?
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to see that.
Anyway, so I mean, yeah, they definitely can go anywhere that they want.
And Javati,
I was just hoping that they would give us a little more of a layup.
I agree.
That's what I was hoping for, and I think that we're so used to that, and we didn't get it. It was kind of like, well, maybe they did it like that because there's like, well, maybe we're going to decide whether or not we want to come back or not.
Yeah.
Because
give them a little extra time to
figure out whether or not they want to end it like this, or if they want to come back. Honestly, if they want to end it like this, they really can, because they didn't give us that layup to go further. But
I believe that the story is already written, and they already. I mean, they can end it, but I believe that there's like an end game point place they're going to, and this is only halfway there or a third of the way there.
I think it's if it is, I think it's a third. Like I was telling Nando earlier,
like 3,
I
6,
think
9, like 9 seasons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I think. If they're doing it that way.
I could see that. But honestly, I'm willing to wait a year for Homeland to come back, and I hope it really does. What are we going to see right now? Give them some time. Give them some time to.
And then when they had the ceremony, when they were commemorating the 132 lost, was it 132?
I thought there was more than that, but
I thought it was 200 and something.
I thought it was
before.
206.
But who were
or
the
something.
130 something people that they put on the wall? What were those stars commemorating?
I
The
get.
memorial service.
Valor and service.
Valor and
Maybe.
service.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
Okay.
she said that he fits the criteria,
So
as an agent.
they were honoring like people who fought or were involved in some way, shape, or form. Maybe some people were just guests or
Right.
whatever, not involved with the CIA or with
this is another question I have for everybody, and also Louise. I'm sure Louise Elfman, because she's going to want to put in 2 cents. Do you guys think that Brody should have been included in the criteria for a star on the wall? Everybody has their opinion about this. I'm sure some people out there are like, yeah, Brody should have a damn star. He redeemed himself, blah, blah, blah. How do we feel here in the studio audience? The studio. How do you guys feel about the whole, we touched upon it a second earlier.
I'm not totally against it. I mean,
I can see why Lockhart was like, no, that's where I draw the line. I can understand why. And if they decided to go ahead and give him that nod, I'd be like, okay, sure,
I
why
could
not?
see either
Whatever.
way, but I'm not totally against it. I mean, he fought, he gave his life for the mission, and even before that, when he was captured as a prisoner of war 10 years before this, or 9 years, or however many it's been, I don't know, how many years has it been since he came back? 2?
Yeah.
8, 9, 9 or 10.
2 seasons. So let's say 3.
No, I know, but
But then
I don't
they jumped
know.
ahead.
I don't think it'd be 2 years, though. It'd be like about a year or so.
9 years of this dude's life has been given because he decided to fight for his country. Now, yeah, he went a little rogue here and there, but end all be all, he gave his life for the country, and I wasn't totally against it, but I can see why in those moments where he strapped a suicide vest to his body, he was in talks with Abu Nazir, and there are things happening. Yeah, I could see why it might
From
be
a
a problem.
political standpoint, it makes no sense to put him on the star because someone could always call that back to whoever assigned it. So Lockhart giving him the star gives him some heat if
Well,
he
they
wants
said
to run
that
for an
he's
office.
a politician.
He's a
so.
politician. But I do say it's a redemption story, and I don't know if anyone with that much of a redemption should deserve a commendation like that.
Right.
So I'm not against it if they were to vote him on. I don't think I would have noticed that as much, but at the same time, I totally understand why. I think people who go up there have a career of exemplary service, and he was held hostage for 8 years. I get that, and he had 1 or 2 really bad moments. Let's say. One moment with
He
the
had a couple
vest.
snafus.
He had that one big moment with the vest. Well, and killing the vice president, which no one really talks about, I guess, really either.
True.
That's true.
Yeah, no one really refers that to.
He has a history of killing assassinating execs.
Exactly. So I mean, so I don't think in the end he really did
Obviously,
deserve
a
that.
politician is not going to let that happen, but at least, I wonder what they're going to do when they're like, walk back there, they're like, that star looks a little weird.
Yeah, I'm totally against Carrie vandalizing the
what they
CIA
shoulda-
marble wall with a Sharpie.
After the credits, they should have had like the maintenance workers from the night before that night
Like-
coming in and just start like cleaning it up.
Yeah.
That would have been a funny final shot.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I could see why she would go and put it on there. Obviously, she's got a bit of a thing for
She should
Brody.
she should put the star on her belly.
Well,
Do you guys think that Carrie being promoted to Istanbul is to keep her? You think that's a real promotion, or you think that's kind of Lockhart's way of keeping her in his back pocket and out of his hair?
I think it's an honest promotion. I mean,
Yeah, I do
the
too.
scene takes place 4 months after the event, so we're led to believe that everything in the past 4 months was just perfectly fine. That there was nothing really
she's been
momentous.
working for him.
'Cause you know
Exactly.
she
Saul's
doesn't-
been gone.
Well, Saul, he knows that that's Saul's girl, and he doesn't like Saul. So it's kind of like Saul still having a presence there, which.
So you're saying,
the
yeah,
Istanbul is an honest promotion. I feel it's an honest and well-deserved promotion, basically, based on everything she's been through, but also considering her history, and Lockhart knows her history, it could also be let's just put her over in Istanbul. Give her this promotion.
Yeah, but I don't know if
Keep
it's
her
just
out of our
let's
hair.
just do that. That's a very important position.
It is a very important
And don't
position.
forget, he calls her to his office because there's a situation. So he's trusting
What
her.
is that situation?
in his inner
I
circle.
How come
know.
they did that to us?
And then they didn't even touch on it.
It was created to show how outside Saul is. Because at that moment when Saul stood up, that was at least when I first noticed the big V on his ID pad.
No, she commented on it before. She's like, "That's just wrong," and pointed right at
Yeah,
it.
she did.
I
She
must have been
did.
writing my notes then.
She
Yeah.
did.
But, I mean, obviously that goes to show that life goes on without Saul. That as much as Saul is considered the maestro and he what he created helped,
He's not gone.
helped Iran with their policy and open up their doors.
Right.
That open fist of Iran that they were talking about. As much as he should be getting a star up on that. I mean, he's not dead or anything, but he should be getting a commendation himself. But it just goes to show you, life goes on, and Saul gets to walk out. And the other shot when Saul leaves, you see all the construction work being done.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is
like a new-
the episode opened with no construction work.
Exactly.
Remember?
So that was
Or the
huge.
season, I should say.
The season.
It's
So
like a
that's
symbol
huge.
of
Life goes on.
Life
He
goes
did
on.
all his work. He's going to a ceremony where people are getting commendations on a wall, whether it's because they passed away or whatever. And he's there as a visitor. And then all of a sudden there's a situation. He's left completely out of the loop. He gets to walk out and see all the work that he would have been great if he had that kind of support when he was in office. It would have been great if he had that kind of support. But they didn't even lift a finger to do construction on it.
I mean, I understand kind of why they let him go, but not really. It's kind of like everything that he had put into place was working.
Well, that line that Lockhart said to Carrie was interesting. I really wanted to keep him on, but you understand I couldn't. I just felt there was obviously a big ego clash between. I mean, obviously he did treat him pretty Lockhart pretty crappy.
I mean that.
But
Wait.
Lockhart was a dick. But he did treat him kind of
Lockhart was
crappy.
a dick.
Treated him crappy because that's what he deserved. He
Yeah.
was a jerk off, and he
knew nothing about the operations
he took
of the
Saul
CIA.
out because
Yeah.
Saul knew a lot about him, and he just wanted him gone.
Yeah.
He was like, look,
Well, he
that's
didn't-
why I said, and that's another thing. And maybe I don't believe that Saul's really gone, so maybe that this will actually come into play more obviously in the next season. But I've been saying all this season that if there comes a time where Lockhart has the option to stand up for Saul and help him out, he's not going to do it. And he let him go. So
Well, up to Saul's last moments, he was in denial of the plan of what Lockhart wanted to do in the plan. He wanted to save Brody, and he couldn't do that. So
Right.
obviously, why? I mean, for someone like Lockhart, it's good sometimes to have people under you that have a different opinion.
Of course.
Obviously, you want to get
and balances.
multiple exactly, but Lockhart and Saul just didn't connect in that way,
They
and
clashed.
I think Saul having a former head. Underneath the new guy, they were probably going to have a lot more clashes like that because Saul feels justified to, and Lockhart even said when he was talking to Carrie said Saul's usually right, and Lockhart said you're correct, he's usually right.
But was Saul really the head? It's like kind of like having an interim head coach.
Yeah, well,
you have a coach, a head coach that's
Well,
the
he
head
was.
coach.
He
who
was
gets-
the head
Who
for a
gets
little bit.
fired, and
He was a
then
lame duck.
Next thing you know, the offensive coordinator comes in and he's the interim head
But
coach
the-
until they find the
you're
real
right.
guy.
Yeah. You're
And
right.
So it's not
But-
really a real appointment.
but they
so he
still-
still could have stayed on.
But they also gave him a lot of credit when he was kind of philandering there in a limbo, and he had to run this operation, and it was a success. So that's a good thing that it ended up being a success, which I think is an open door to having Saul come back. Is that static? Me? Sorry. If you're hearing that.
So you think okay, so he's going to New York with his what's
With
his wife's
Mira.
name? Mira, yes.
Mira.
Yeah.
Going to New York to do God knows
Although I would
what.
rather stay in Greece, man. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was,
Santorini. They
Santorini.
wanted to.
It was really
we were
nice there.
guessing.
Yes, he's Santorini.
I'm pretty sure it's Santorini. I'm willing to bet that was
It
Santorini.
was a beautiful backdrop there.
I want to go there so
But
bad.
he's going to New York to do whatever she has set up for him out there, God knows what, and whatever. And
Maybe work
actually-
with the
living.
UN. Maybe end
That's
up
a-
working in the UN or something.
that's actually, I think, this move is good for his marriage. It might not be
That's
exactly
why I don't think he's done. I think he's coming back.
Well, notice
because
how
it's good for his marriage.
Yeah, because he doesn't. It's that constant flip-flop in between the CIA and his who he's really married to, his job or her.
Well, notice they seem to be really, really comfortable in Santorini. It was a
And
nice little
happy,
vacation and
yeah.
very, very happy.
You're right.
So, and he's following her. So,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. He's actually following her lead. She's going to New York.
It would
he's
be a
going with
nice
her.
way for Saul to go out succeeding in his mission. What he has worked for his whole life has happened. Carrie is okay. He and his wife are great. I just don't think that's the end of Saul.
But he's the maestro, so they're going to call him back in.
I have an idea of how they're going to call him back, but we'll wait for predictions on that one.
Javadi has already, had influence in the economic policy there and getting America to come in and allow them to come and, have an open door policy with their nuclear programs or what's going on in that region. And I feel great for Saul. It's kind of bittersweet for Saul for me. I don't know who else feels like this.
No, that's kind of a sad story.
Yeah,
totally.
That's a more sad story in a way than Brody is.
Yeah, it kind of is, because this guy did everything, as the kind of American, in his position that he was supposed to be, and succeeded, and was successful.
Got kicked in the ass.
You're right. It's kind of like, really? That's how you're going to reward your people?
But would Saul have really wanted to work under Lockhart? He probably was, in a way.
Yeah, but it's not even about that. It's like, what? You got to wait for a news article to come out halfway around the world for you to feel some kind of self-redemption or self-reward. That to me sucks. Like, at least there should have been a scene where he was meeting with the president. The president, like,
shook his hand.
Something. Or he comes out of the office and he's like, the president gave me this and gave me that. And it was really
Which
thankful,
is why I don't think they're taking him out.
Here's an interesting thought, though. At
least show some appreciation to this guy. Like, this guy really...
I know.
He really was the difference maker in how he even manipulated the whole Senate hearing situation. He manipulated that whole thing was him. He orchestrated this whole
maestro
thing. And I think for him to go out and just walk out with a visitor's pass on his chest was just really
Saul.
whack.
He's humble.
Here's an interesting thing, though.
No, but it's not about Saul being humble. It's about they should have shown him.
I know, but he could have been like, screw you, I'm not stepping foot back in that building. And he's humble. He said, whatever, I'm going to be there for the...
But notice that Carrie's in line now. Carrie's been in line for the past 4 months while Saul hasn't been around.
Because he was the only person that could keep her in check. Or the only
Apparently not.
Well, he was the only person that was closest to being able to do it.
Well, but my point is she's been a good soldier for the past 4 months without him there. So it almost makes me wonder if the fact that she feels enabled to do all the stuff that she does because Saul lets her get away with some of this stuff, or because Saul's such a trusted person, she gets to think on her own. But here she is now working under Lockhart for the past 4 months, and he loves her. He thinks she's doing a great job.
And he's calling
her. And I think he is, because he's calling her in. He's calling her in. I think Istanbul's a big job. I think she's smart enough to know if she's being put out to pasture. Plus she's pregnant. I mean, come on. I think there are millions of ways. There are millions of ways that Lockhart can play. He can play, you're pregnant, you're going to have a kid, we're going to give you less duty, or we're going to give you a promotion. We're going to move you to Istanbul, right in the middle of the, right by the Middle East.
Technically, I don't think they can say that. You're pregnant and you're having a child, so now we're giving. It's illegal to do that.
It is illegal. It's the CIA. Yeah, that's my counter. It is the CIA.
They want to do.
Of course, but if he says that out loud, she can go and sue them for it.
Exactly.
So he can't. If he was going to do that, and that's what he was finding another way around it.
He doesn't have to offer a promotion that she's not asking for. He doesn't have to offer up a promotion she's not asking for. She's not asking to move to Istanbul. I just don't think
he loves her. I think he wants her to do her job, but I wouldn't go as far as to say he loves her. That guy is. I don't know.
Well, it's not like she's a soldier. But most of her job is based in intelligence.
Well, again, she's in line, so I think it's really, really interesting that when Saul's in charge, she's going through all this stuff, and she's calling Saul up, and she's trying to get her own way, and she's letting circumstances control her, and all of a sudden now, 4 months later, and she seems to be an exemplary agent all of a sudden.
She seems to be. There might be some things that we didn't. You never know what they're gonna show us in between that 4 months that they didn't show us.
Well, I think it's now that Saul's not there, she can pull from all the things and lessons she's learned with Saul.
Yeah,
and sometimes those things are like, okay, I can't, Saul, okay, so basically I need to, okay, I won't do this, I can do this, I won't do this, because that person isn't there.
Yeah.
So kind of like Saul might be checks her. Saul is still like in her mind, her psyche about how she was trained, because she doesn't actually have Saul there anymore. So now she has to be her own checks and balances, which made her, she was still a good agent before with Saul there. She was just a little more loose cannon, because Saul was actually there.
Obviously,
but I think she's still there in her mind, but she actually has Saul there about don't do this, don't do that.
They're
he was her mentor, so
Right.
she obviously learned from him, and that makes her a good agent. The fact that she's learned from the very best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with
And they're
that.
obviously making out that she has become a different agent in between this 4 months. Like you're saying, I agree with that. I'm just saying I wonder what they're not revealing in that.
I think she's the same.
I don't think there's much to reveal. I think they
I think
just fast forward
I don't
4
know.
months
I don't-
because there's nothing really amazing.
I don't know that there was anything to reveal or not. I'm saying they're leaving an open door in order to go back and show us some snippets of
They
what
probably
happened in
had
that
all her
film.
sex scenes with Peter Quinn in the past 4 months, and
Don't-
then they
you know-
stopped like the day before. They broke up the day before.
That's not funny.
That's
Trying to
just
depress him even more.
that's just mean.
I thought they
to
were going to go this
Leonelli.
whole episode and not even give me just a little Peter Quinn to hold on to until
We
next
got him
year.
for a minute,
We did. We got him. And he looked good.
And that was it.
and that was all.
Well, again,
Take it.
you were so depressed about Brody, and I told you, I said, well, Brody dies, leaves the door open for Quinn. So there you go.
Holla.
Hopefully he doesn't mind single mothers.
yeah,
He'll be
hops
totally good.
hops on a plane to Istanbul.
He's going with her for sure. And Saul's going to end up there too.
Well, she asked to pick her own team, and
Yeah.
Do I get to
So-
handpick my team?
I think that was
Saul,
insinuated.
Peter Quinn.
yeah, and then she
Okay.
goes outside and
Although her in charge of Quinn would be interesting because he was brought on originally
well,
to keep an eye on her.
Yeah, but he still runs
They're
the
they're
show.
Yeah, but
equals.
she. I mean, remember the cases have always been her cases, so they've always had to go off of her lead and the information,
But
intel she's
but
brought
everyone
in
can
check
pull.
her.
But everyone can pull their own rank. Like his
based on their role.
exactly
Yeah,
his
yeah.
role is to protect. So if he needs to pull rank over her to protect her, then he will. So at any moment, someone can step up to help complete the mission or for the
Right.
better good of whatever
Well,
they're doing.
that was just her role with Saul with that particular mission. So I think he still falls under the supervision of Dar
Yeah,
because now there's no more Saul. That
Yeah.
mission is over, it's done, and now he's back to
Yeah,
his
he's always
regular-
worked for Dahl.
Yeah, he's
Dar,
worked
Dahl,
for-
yeah.
Well, we'll
for
see.
Dar.
You know, it depends on where he's getting assigned to next, I guess. So we'll
If
get to
she
see.
handpicks him, then she's in charge, I guess, technically. But I wonder who else she's going to pick. I'm just saying, no matter what, wherever she goes, and each person has a role in what team player they are, at any moment they can step and pull rank
Do you
for
think?
their role.
Do you think Farrah would be in season 4? Just because she's the only other notable character that we haven't really talked about.
What's going to happen in season 4 is some stuff is going to stir up with Javadi.
I know what you're going to say. Something's going to blow up.
Sorry,
Is that what you're going to predict?
something's always blowing up.
Nothing blew up this episode.
Something blew up this season. Though,
You were hoping.
didn't it?
You were hoping something was going to blow up this episode.
I mean, I was thinking something might.
You
blow
were
up,
praying
but I was
because-
like,
You
You're praying.
I
That
was
one
like,
shot of her walking away from Saul, I was like, that would be a perfect shot for something
for something to blow up.
And
it
then
would.
you could have been like, see, my predictions are right.
Really, everybody, really.
It's the season finale.
Oh, goodness. Here we go again.
You love it and you know
It's
it.
time for your warm milk. Okay,
Somebody
so
keeps you on your toes, and that girl is me.
oh goodness. Okay, so guys, let's go on to news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, we do have some news and gossip.
Okay, go ahead, Lauren Leonelli.
I read that Homeland is what was the term they were pulling back on 2 of their series regulars, and one of them is Marina Baccarin, who's Jessica,
Right.
which now that there's
Is-
no Brody, that makes sense.
Right.
And I don't know who the other one was, but I'm guessing that
It's Morgan Saylor, which is
Dana.
Dana.
So yeah, so they're. Oh my God! I just knocked over a sign. Let me get that.
Yep.
Oh, stuff's getting real
Yep,
out here.
that's
Something-
her.
Passionate. She's
Something-
really
wait, hold
passionate
on.
about Dana.
We were predicting something to blow up and explode.
There
It's
you
the last
go.
part of our set, people.
There you go.
It's
So
getting-
you win predictions.
Yes.
You
Getting
win
cra-
predictions.
No,
I'm the king of predictions.
Stop. I'm gonna put my
I'm
hand
the
here.
king of
I'm gonna
predictions.
throw this iTunes thing at you. So is not the king of predictions. And so anyway, back to the news and gossip. I don't know if it's Morgan Saylor's character. I'm just guessing based on the
Okay.
fact that they just took Brody out.
It makes sense that none of the Brodies will be back next season without Brody.
And the son, I
Rudnick.
mean,
And the son-
all he did was just stand there silently in the background.
Watch, he'll be
anyway,
the
so-
only one that comes back. That would be awesome, actually. If we don't see anyone else, but he's the one to come back.
That would be
Ay, ay,
hilarious.
ay.
They got to fast forward like 5
Did they
years.
get any Golden Globe nominations?
No, in fact,
Stop it.
we don't have anything on them. That's actually pretty big news in a way.
Really?
Considering that they won the Gold
sure
Globe
about
last
that?
year. I am absolutely positive it was a major story. They got the biggest snub.
Rude.
But it's funny because a lot of the critics at first were kind of like, it's a big snub, and they're like, well, if you look at this past season, it's not as critically acclaimed as it was last year.
Yeah.
I'm not on that bandwagon. I loved the show no matter what. It was different. I mean, it can't be the same note every time. It was different. There was a more emotional side this season. It was different. They built it up in a different way. I don't know. I think they went about it in a different way, and I think it was fine.
I have no problem loving a show that's not nominated for any awards.
No, that's fine too.
Because there's a lot of really awesome TV out there in general, and you can only give 5 or 6 nominations. So I
agree.
I don't mind that too much. I mean, we all obviously root for our favorite shows, but I do think that that this season has not proven as successful as last year at this time.
It's not as nomination worthy.
Right. Well, I don't know about that, but
and it depends on. I don't have the other nominees in front of me, but I think most of the people in the chat room, feel free to chime in or on notes on YouTube or whatever, can chime in if you felt that this was really a worthy season to be nominated for a Golden Globe.
But like you said, there's a lot of good TV out there, and not all of them get nominated. I don't know if it's definitely...
Damien Brody was barely in this season, so he didn't get a nomination. Damien Brody. Damien Lewis. I'm combining the two of them. Claire Danes.
They are one.
Claire Danes had a pretty... I will say her season, at the beginning of her season, as much as we didn't like it, I thought was really, really
Mandy
crazy. Mandy had a couple of great scenes that I think would have been worth
more than
going
a couple.
in.
I think the show was great just because they went about it in a different way. No nominations, whatever. That's neither here nor there for me. But we will tune in next season to see who they're taking off a little bit more. We know it's Jessica and maybe.
Well, Jessica, she hasn't even.
Jessica for sure, because she hasn't been around.
She has not been around, unfortunately.
All right, so that's it for news and gossip.
Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and jump to predictions?
AfterBuzz TV, and now your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so predictions for the future. Go ahead, Lauren. Tell us how Brody is not coming back.
Predict that Brody will come back. She's going to give birth to a Brody. It's going to be like a miniature Brody.
It's a girl.
It's going to, but that's what they think. But
they've already
Do you think
confirmed.
I'm being serious right now?
Well, based on your past predictions, yeah.
If I could spit in your face just like Akbari's wife did to Brody, I would, but I'm too far and there's wires and stuff.
Wow.
Okay.
And Daddy's slowly getting raised up by the neck.
All right.
My prediction is that Javadi, something is going to happen where Javadi needs either like someone to come in and help, or we need to bring him back. Like he's drifting and we need someone to get back there and bring him back into play. And that's when Saul's going to get called back in. And I think that Carrie is going to handpick her team, and she's going to want it to be Saul, but he's going to say no at first, and then they're going to need him, and he's not going to be able to say no to his love, the CIA in America, and he's going to go to Istanbul and he's going to do whatever mission they're on, and Peter Quinn's going to be there too, and Carrie and Peter Quinn are going to have sex. Same prediction that I've been predicting all season. It will happen. It
will eventually happen, and when it does happen, she will be the first one to tell you that she was right.
And I do think
Queen of predictions, ladies and gentlemen.
think that she's going to give the baby up for adoption, but it's not the last time we're ever going to see the baby. But she will give it up for adoption, and then it's going to come back into play.
I agree with that. The baby, she's going to give the baby to her family. So.
I don't think of her family. I don't know about that. I just know she's going to give it up, and she will see the baby again.
I don't see her giving the baby away to somebody else.
No, I mean, her dad even said he was going to take it. Her dad said,
I think her sister would even take it before she let it go.
And I think it adds an extra dimension next season if she still has the baby, even if she's not taking care of the baby
on a daily basis.
Right. Okay.
I think it still has an effect on her.
Okay.
So I think that I agree something's going to happen to Javadi. Either he is going to die and there's going to be somebody new in Iran to take his place, or he's going to go and decide he doesn't want to be working with the U.S. in the same way. He's going to start doing his own thing. Mm-hmm. So I think that's how they're going to bring it. I also think that I think you might be right. That something is going to blow up, and that's possibly what's going to cause Saul to come back. I think it's going to have to be something really major to have Saul come back.
Something is going to happen with Javadi and bring back. It's not going to be just something blowing up. Or maybe it will be.
But I'm getting more specifics than you are. You're just saying something's going to happen.
Right.
I think something's going to. I think it would take a terrorist attack that actually happens.
All right.
I think if there's a threat going on, I don't see Saul getting called back for a threat. I see Saul getting called back after something happens. So either Javadi dying or Javadi going rogue and causing a terrorist attack.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's what I think would bring him back.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Who started this prediction? This girl. Then you piggybacked on it, and then you just said, okay, ditto.
The fact that you went before me does not mean I piggybacked on your prediction.
Exactly. Everybody has their own mind over here after Buzz. Okay,
whatever. I said it first.
Did you? Is that what you said?
Just saying.
I can't even remember.
Well, don't forget, you said something happens. I got a little more specific. Yes. So we can both be right, but then I got more specific.
I'm just saying I said it first.
I think the same thing what Nando was saying. I think that Javadi is either going to go rogue and cause all kind of havoc, or I think more specifically that somebody in Iran is going to find out that he's an asset and bump him off.
Yeah, right. There's going to be some sort of...
He's not just going to die. I think specifically... It's going to bring Saul back in, though,
I think
specifically...
Right?
It's specifically... Well, that would, bring Saul back in.
Yeah.
But specifically, they're going to find out that he's an asset.
That's
he's been
good.
an asset.
I like that.
And
I'll give you props for that one.
Okay, you got to go. Chop him off.
Yeah.
And then, of course, install themselves. And then, of course, they have the same problem all over again.
Yeah.
History
problem number 4.
Itself.
Or 3. That would be the 3rd.
And that probably is going to be the first 4 episodes, the first third of the season.
Thaddeus is writing for Homeland next season, by the way. He just got
next season, season 4.
Season 4, there we go.
Yeah, Javadi is out by season 4.
I'm sad it's over. It's going to be hard for me to wait until next season, but I'm always I'm already excited for it, but I am feeling a little sad.
I can't wait to see how they reset the button. I think it's going to invigorate the writers now that they don't have to worry about figuring out where to put Brody and all this. I think it's definitely going to be a whole new different season.
I think we should all cheers to Damian Lewis for
cheers
an amazing
cheers to Damian Lewis.
Amazing job.
You're the man.
For sure.
Awesome job. You did not get a Golden Globe, but
we're going to miss you, buddy. Maybe we'll have some flashbacks or something. Ooh, I predict flashbacks. Ooh, I predict flashbacks, and Damian Lewis is going to be there. Yay! Best prediction ever.
Okay, I'm going to remember that because that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it is. Dreams and stuff. Dreams and stuff. Yeah.
Until next time, where can we find you guys?
I'm Lauren Leonelli. You can find me at... Stop laughing, Nando. It's going to happen. Why can't that happen?
My prediction for season 4 is something will happen.
I did not say that. I said she's going to have... There's going to be flashbacks and dreams, and Brody's going to be there.
There will be flashbacks and dreams. And unicorns.
I'm Lauren Leonelli, and you can find me at Lauren Leonelli on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Vine, and my website to tell me that I'm right about my prediction. Nando?
Nando, and if you want something to happen, you can Twitter me at, you can tweet me over at Nandovel, Nandovel.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Club Thaddeus. And to be more specific, those flashbacks, if they do have flashbacks, Lauren Leonelli, those flashbacks have to be new scenes in order for them to count for Damian Lewis coming back and doing it. They're not going to be new scenes. If they do flashbacks, they're going to be old scenes. They're going to be scenes that we've already seen.
Or
like
stuff that maybe we didn't see.
I know. Don't hold your breath till next season, because
or stuff that we didn't see.
Maybe
they didn't show every second of their lives.
That's true.
Could be revealing something else.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Again.
All right, guys. Until season 4.
Pay them either way, so they'll make new seasons.
Till season 4. It was been fun, guys.
It's been fun, guys. See ya.
Bye.
If you guys are on podcast, you guys need to look at YouTube and then see the nice popping pink lipstick that Lauren wore to
kiss Damian Lewis goodbye.
No, not Damian Lewis. It was from Peter Quinn. Okay, we're out. Season 4. Holla. Peace.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.